Betrayal cuts deeper than any wound, doesn't it? Especially when it comes from those you trusted, those you thought incapable of such malice. It's not just the act itself, but the intent behind it, the deliberate effort to harm, to break something they didn't create but sought to destroy. Yet here you are, standing, not just surviving, but thriving, proving that their schemes could never define you. Betrayal may leave scars, but it also reveals something greater, the unyielding strength within you, a resilience they never saw coming and could never take away. The unseen depth of your resolve is an enigma, a quiet force coursing through your being, honed through challenges few could endure. You are sculpted not for the comforts of simplicity, but for the crucible of trials designed to unveil your extraordinary essence. Though scarred by hardship, your core remains unbreakable, a living testament to resilience that defies understanding. The strength that radiates from within you is a force they cannot fathom, forged to bear the weight of a destiny that reaches far beyond the limits of the ordinary. To those who seek to undermine you, you are but a reflection of what they fear most, an embodiment of possibilities they dare not pursue. They see an opportunity to project their emptiness, mistaking your resolve for vulnerability. Yet, they misunderstand. Your existence aligns with a purpose unshaken by their illusions, guided by an energy that transcends their grasp. The brilliance of your mission illuminates both the inspired and the envious, drawing attempts to stifle your light. But their efforts only amplify the truth. The depths of your spirit reveal the shallow ground upon which they stand. Through the labyrinth of challenges you've traversed, your journey stands as a deliberate testament to a resilience born of necessity. Yours was never meant to be a road of ease. Instead, it was carved to demand a strength few could summon. Each step you take carries a defiance against collapse, a silent strength that bewilders those who cannot comprehend its origin. The trials you've endured are etched into your very essence, shaping a spirit unyielding to the forces that would seek to break it. You are a living echo of fortitude, resonating far beyond the limits of the visible world. Those who sought to hinder you have stumbled upon a force beyond their comprehension. They misread your steady resolve, mistaking it for vulnerability, and your quiet determination as an invitation for exploitation. But in their misguided actions, they have awakened forces that will not be subdued. To oppose you is to face the inevitable collapse of their own illusions. You are not merely a figure of survival. You are the unshakable essence of persistence itself, a being whose endurance transcends the imaginable, leaving no doubt of your unbreakable core. The boundaries they violated were not mere lines in the sand. They were sacred thresholds crafted to safeguard your existence, a soul designated for a purpose beyond human understanding. Their actions were not just transgressions against you, but a disruption of the balance that ordained your path. What they dared to do wasn't a simple act of defiance. It was an affront to the essence that defines and elevates your existence. The concept of forgiveness falters in the face of their deliberate malice. Some acts demand more than compassion. They summon an unyielding reckoning, one that reverberates with the weight of justice. Their betrayal was layered with audacity as they donned the mask of victimhood to manipulate the narrative, warping the truth in a desperate attempt to escape accountability. Their cowardice and duplicity stand as a twisted monument to their failure to grasp the magnitude of their actions, an ultimate denial of the reality they sought to reshape. Their masquerade of innocence is a distortion, a deliberate twisting of reality that mocks the pain they inflicted. Their feigned victimhood is not just deceit. It is a desecration of the truth, a calculated maneuver to mask the depths of their betrayal. The marks they left on your spirit are not the kind that fade. They are carved into the essence of who you are, vivid reminders of storms unleashed to dismantle what you had built. Each act of treachery was like a strike against the foundation of trust, leaving behind fractures that ache with the memory of their calculated harm. Their cruelty wasn't accidental, but deliberate, an effort to leave behind a shadow that would linger long after they were gone. The scars they caused, thoughtlessly buried by their indifference, remain as vivid as ever, etched into the tapestry of your being. Yet they underestimate the power of memory, the kind that exists not just in you, but in a realm beyond comprehension. Each wound, each moment of anguish is held in a timeless account, an undeniable record of their actions. The echoes of their transgressions are not forgotten. They are known, preserved in clarity by forces that see beyond the veil of time, ensuring that their deeds remain unmistakable in the light of eternal justice. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. Isaiah 54:17. Like a tree planted by living waters, your roots have grown deep, unshaken by the storms they sought to bring. Their efforts were like stones thrown into an endless river, making ripples for a moment, but powerless to change its course. You, chosen and steadfast, flow with a strength they could never contain, carrying forward with the purpose placed within you by divine hands. They acted in secrecy, cloaking their deeds in the pretense of insignificance, thinking their harm would pass unnoticed. But they failed to grasp the truth, that nothing done in the shadows escapes the light. Their schemes were not simply aimed at your flesh. They struck at the essence of your spirit, a core woven with resilience far beyond their understanding. What they thought would break you has only fortified you. Their malice turned to fuel for the fire that burns ever brighter within you. Each wound they inflicted was not an ending, but a beginning, a place where new strength took root and began to grow. In their arrogance, they believed they could diminish you, but instead, they have solidified your place in realms they cannot see or comprehend. Their cruelty, no matter how intentional or sharp, could never extinguish the light that emanates from your core. That light is not just your own, it is a reflection of divine presence, an unyielding force that has protected you from the very beginning. While they plotted in secret, every move they made was already known, every word spoken already heard by the one who sees all. Nothing escapes his watchful care, and no harm escapes his justice. Imagine their surprise when the very traps they set became the tools of their undoing. They believed they were hidden, their actions veiled from consequence, but their deeds have been laid bare under the scrutiny of a power they cannot evade. The lies they told and the harm they intended now stand as stark reminders of the futility of opposing the chosen. They tried to weaken you, but instead, they built the forge in which your strength was refined. What they meant for harm became the means through which you were made unbreakable. And you, chosen one, have walked through the fire they kindled, yet you were not consumed. You were protected by a force they cannot understand, a shield that guarded you from their worst intentions. Every trial they placed before you was turned into an opportunity for growth, every obstacle transformed into a stepping stone. You are not just surviving, you are thriving, advancing with a purpose that no earthly power can derail. Their efforts to diminish you have only revealed their own limitations, their own weakness in the face of divine favor. As they watch, their plans crumble before their eyes. The certainty they once had, the pride they once carried, it all falls away as the truth becomes clear. They stood against something far greater than themselves, and they are now witnessing the consequences of their defiance. But you, walking in the light of your calling, are untouchable. You move forward not out of vengeance, but with the confidence of one who knows their path is guided by a higher power. This is your time. The trials you endured were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to reveal the strength that has always been within you. Your journey is not one of defeat, but of unstoppable progress, of purpose fulfilled and resilience revealed. Let their actions fade into the background as you step boldly into what lies ahead. You are chosen, protected, and empowered, walking a path illuminated by faith and guided by the hand of the divine. Let this truth anchor you. No force can stand against what God has purposed, and no harm can extinguish the light within you. Whispers of caution came to them, faint at first, like ripples on still water, growing louder with each passing moment until they could no longer be ignored. Yet pride clouded their sight, and they dismissed these signs as mere inconveniences, too minor to disrupt the false security of their arrogance. They assumed they could outmaneuver forces beyond comprehension, as though the vast order of existence would bend to their whims. But no defiance escapes the gaze of the infinite, and their disregard only wove their fate more tightly into the inescapable tapestry of justice that awaits all who act in defiance of the sacred. They saw themselves as untouchable, immune to the currents of consequence, their schemes too trivial to attract the attention of higher forces. They could not have been more mistaken. In their audacity, they walked willingly into the very storm they believed they could outrun. What they dismissed as mere folly has drawn them into the center of a reckoning they cannot evade. Their mockery of accountability has placed them squarely in the path of an unstoppable truth, where the full force of justice moves with precision, neither hurried nor delayed, but always inevitable. They now stand at the edge of a reckoning, not against mortal consequences, but before an unyielding force that spans the eternal. What they dismissed as inconsequential murmurs were, in truth, the warnings of a power that sees beyond their limited understanding. In their arrogance, they turned away, blind to the reality that such warnings are not idle. Their defiance has led them to a confrontation with a force that neither forgets nor falters. They walked against the tide of the sacred, and now they are consumed by the truth they sought to ignore, a truth that leaves no room for escape. This is not mere retribution, but a restoration of balance, an undoing of the chaos they sowed. Their justifications crumble under the gaze of an unshakable order that pierces through pretense to reveal the depth of their misdeeds. As they face the unrelenting force before them, they may come to understand too late that their pride was no match for what stands against them. The path they chose has led them to this reckoning, a moment where no deceit can shield them from the weight of their actions. Justice moves with a certainty that cannot be denied, a tide that rises to restore what was broken, leaving no space for the illusions they once clung to. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will come back to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessings are on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed and let the light of the Lord guide your path. As their defiance collides with an unyielding force, the reality of their choices becomes undeniable, a direct encounter with the infinite, where every act of malice is accounted for. They disregarded the signs, thinking them trivial, but those warnings carried the weight of truth they refused to acknowledge. Now, their actions echo back with the intensity of a power they cannot withstand, as justice unfolds with a precision that leaves no transgression untouched. The betrayal of the chosen calls forth a reckoning born from a love that defends as fiercely as it nurtures. Justice and love are intertwined, each moving with equal ferocity to protect what is sacred. This is no gentle correction. It is a force that crashes upon them like an unrelenting wave, tearing through their illusions of immunity. Every hidden deed, every false word is laid bare under a light that spares no shadow. Their arrogance shatters under the weight of accountability as the truth of their actions emerges in stark, undeniable clarity. The harm they sowed now returns to them, amplified beyond their control. Each moment of suffering they caused magnified and mirrored back in ways they could never have foreseen. What they held dear, ambitions, possessions, and pride, crumbles into dust, swept away by a justice that leaves no refuge. They watch helplessly as the foundation of their lives dissolves, revealing the hollowness beneath. The protection they believed unassailable vanishes, leaving them exposed to the consequences they thought they could escape. Every false shield is stripped away, every illusion destroyed, until all that remains is the void they created in their pursuit of harm. This reckoning is absolute, dismantling every facade and unraveling every deceit. The weight of eternity bears down, dismantling their pride, leaving nothing but the emptiness they sought to impose on others. They are left to confront the full measure of their actions, a desolation that reflects the harm they inflicted. In the end, there is no refuge, no solace, only the unyielding truth of a justice that moves with unwavering resolve, restoring balance to all they sought to disrupt. Soon, the undeniable signs of their unraveling will reveal themselves, as though the threads holding their world together are being pulled apart one by one. Those who inflicted harm upon you, who sowed discord and malice without thought, will find themselves entangled in a cascade of struggles, sudden and inexplicable challenges that dismantle the illusions they once relied upon. You are not just a passive observer, you are a witness to the slow erosion of their false sense of invulnerability. Divine justice operates quietly at first, like the tide, creeping in unnoticed, but its impact is inescapable. Watch their faces. The fear they once denied will rise to the surface, a fear that grows as their steps falter and the foundations of their pride begin to collapse. As their world starts to crumble, the connection between their suffering and their past deeds will become undeniable. What seemed like isolated troubles will converge into a clear pattern, one that reflects the harm they caused. The stability they once took for granted will become fragile, and the certainty they once wielded will dissolve into doubt. Their confusion will echo the chaos they once unleashed upon you, as every corner of their existence is touched by the ripples of their own actions. This is not random misfortune, but a precise reckoning, a reflection of the pain they thought they had left behind. The unraveling begins subtly, relationships breaking down, aspirations slipping through their grasp like water through clenched hands. Then it builds into an unstoppable surge, tearing through everything they once held dear. The comforts they surrounded themselves with, status, possessions, and fleeting pleasures, will vanish one by one, leaving them with nothing but the stark emptiness of their deeds. What they believed unshakable will be reduced to ruins, and the invulnerability they flaunted will shatter under the weight of justice that spares nothing and no one. Their days will be marked by isolation, their nights by the torment of regret. The consequences of their actions will seep into every part of their lives, a mirror reflecting the harm they sought to impose on you. Relationships rooted in deceit will crumble, ambitions born of arrogance will collapse, and the security they once relied upon will evaporate as though it were never real. This reckoning is thorough, dismantling every illusion until nothing remains but the void they once sought to inflict on others. In the end, they will face the emptiness they created, left alone with the stark truth of their actions. No corner of their existence will be untouched. No justification will shield them from the weight of what they have wrought. What they underestimated was the unyielding protection that surrounded you, a shield they could not pierce, no matter how vile their intent. Every plan they conceived, every harm they attempted, faltered against the unbreakable force that defended you. They thought they could wound, but their efforts collided with a power far greater than their comprehension, leaving them to contend with the consequences of their own undoing. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge. Psalm 18:2. Picture a lighthouse standing firm in a storm, its light cutting through the fiercest winds and waves. That's the kind of protection surrounding you. A beacon that cannot be dimmed, a foundation that cannot be shaken. No matter how dark the skies or how strong the winds, the light of God's protection holds steady, guiding and shielding you from forces that sought to pull you under. The attempts against you were deliberate, crafted in shadows, and aimed with precision. Yet every plan they devised was shattered the moment it encountered the immovable fortress surrounding you. This is no ordinary barrier. It's a shield forged by the hand of the divine, reinforced by love so vast it defies understanding. Their schemes, no matter how carefully constructed, dissolved like mist at dawn, powerless against the unrelenting strength standing guard over you. What they didn't understand is that your path is not yours alone. It's guided by a purpose higher than their comprehension. Their actions were not just futile, they became stepping stones that elevated you further. Each attempt to harm you was transformed into an opportunity for growth, a chance to deepen your resolve and sharpen your focus. The protection over your life isn't passive, it's an active force, dismantling every obstacle they set and turning it into nothing more than dust. Their strength was no match for the unseen hand that has always been with you. It is as though they were trying to extinguish a flame guarded by an unquenchable source. Their efforts, though seemingly powerful in their own eyes, were like waves crashing against a mountain, loud and momentarily disruptive, but ultimately futile. That mountain stands unmoved, as do you. This protection isn't just about shielding you from harm, it's about preparing you for what's ahead. The interference they sought to impose has been stripped away, clearing the path for you to move forward with boldness. What they tried to halt has now gained unstoppable momentum, and you are free to walk the road laid out for you from the beginning. Their failure only highlights the futility of standing against what is destined. You are not just guarded, you are fortified. The foundation beneath your feet is stronger than any trial, and the light guiding you is brighter than any shadow they could cast. The same power that protected you is the one that now propels you forward, unhindered and unburdened. What once seemed like insurmountable obstacles are now merely lessons, reminders of the strength you carry and the purpose that propels you. Let this be your confidence. Nothing formed against you will succeed, for your steps are guided by hands that sculpted the universe itself. Their attempts to harm you have only revealed the depth of the protection that surrounds you and the strength you've gained in the process. Move forward without hesitation, knowing you are walking in the light of an unshakable purpose, guarded by a power no opposition can withstand. This is your time. The road ahead is clear, and every step you take is a testament to the resilience, the purpose, and the power that has carried you here. Lift your head high, for the trials behind you are now fuel for the triumphs ahead. You are not merely surviving, you are thriving, moving with the confidence of one who knows they are chosen, protected, and empowered to fulfill a destiny that nothing on earth can hinder. You are no longer merely shielded. You are equipped with a power that transcends defense and becomes a force of progress. The purpose within you grows brighter with each step, a manifestation of a plan that surpasses anything the trials of this world could threaten. Every challenge they place before you has become a foundation upon which you stand taller, every obstacle transformed into a source of momentum. There is nothing in their arsenal that could dim the light of your purpose or halt the energy that drives you forward. The need to question your safety has vanished, replaced by an unwavering assurance embedded within you. You move not just as one protected, but as one empowered, carrying the authority of a calling that cannot be denied. Your steps are deliberate, your direction clear, as you press forward with a certainty born of being chosen and guided. No force can deter you now, for you are more than shielded. You are unstoppable, propelled by a force that turns every shadow into light and every barrier into a pathway forward. Understand this truth. Opposing those under divine protection is not merely an act of defiance. It is a collision with a force that cannot be swayed or subdued. Those who sought to undermine you, believing they could challenge a destiny ordained, now face the unavoidable collapse of their arrogance. Their downfall is not a silent one. It is a spectacle of justice, a vivid proclamation that echoes through all who observe. To trespass against sacred purpose is to invite consequences that cannot be escaped. No strike against the divinely chosen goes unanswered, and no transgression is left without a reckoning. Their belief in their invincibility, propped up by fleeting power and hollow pride, has been shattered by an undeniable truth. No earthly strength can withstand the might of divine intervention. The natural order is inscribed with a timeless principle. Those who oppose the protected will confront the vastness of a force they cannot grasp. Their ruin serves as an enduring testament, a cautionary reminder etched into the ruins of their ambitions. This outcome was sealed the moment they sought to harm, a path they walked willingly, blind to the consequences waiting in the shadows of their choices. They thought mercy would grant them immunity, yet the justice they now face is as deliberate as the compassion they ignored. Warnings came, but arrogance led them to dismiss the call to change, and now they stand before the relentless tide of judgment they summoned. As their downfall unfolds, it is not your burden to dwell on their fate. Instead, it is your triumph to rise, strengthened by the knowledge that you walk with an unshakable purpose, surrounded by an unyielding shield that propels you forward. With each step, let the remnants of their interference fade, leaving only the clarity of your journey. The force that surrounds you is unrelenting in its guidance, carrying you toward the fulfillment of your purpose with certainty. Their fall is a reminder of the power that protects and empowers you, a message not of vengeance, but of steadfast resilience. Your story is not defined by opposition, but by the unwavering path of a destiny that cannot be disrupted. As you move forward, carry this message with you. The chosen are not defeated by trials, but refined by them. Share this truth with others who need to hear it, offering them the same hope and conviction. Your journey is a testament to the strength of unwavering purpose, a light for those who seek guidance in their own struggles. With faith and resolve, you forge ahead, untouched by the past and illuminated by the promise of all that lies ahead.